I'm excited to have with me today as my guest Brock McGillis, who is the first openly gay men's professional hockey player and also a leading advocate in the LGBTQ plus space. Brock is here today to talk about his tour, the Culture Shift Tour. And welcome, Brock.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, so are you in Winnipeg right now on your tour?
I'm actually not. It just
Oh,
so happened. I'm supposed to be. Um,
okay.
all the teams that booked in Winnipeg ended up choosing the same 2 days. So I'm actually talking to 10 teams in 2 days, which
Okay.
is going to be interesting and a lot of work. But it meant I had my first days off in over a month.
Oh,
So I was excited to come home and do laundry and get some sleep and see my partner. So it's been nice to kind of decompress for a few days.
yes, like to recharge your batteries, right? And you're on the road for a month. And so I wanted to, talk about the tour. And now the tour is 100 minor, speaking to, sorry, 100 minor hockey teams in 100 days. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So tell us about the tour. Like, what's uh, your inspiration for starting it and the message?
I think it started because I mean it's always something I want to do, but ultimately I've always heard, well, you can't be everywhere when talking about the work I do. It's like, well, you can't be everywhere. And I found that so dismissive that it was sort of like, well, I'm gonna prove to you I can be everywhere. And here I am going everywhere I possibly can. Um, the goal of the tour is to create welcoming environments for everybody, and I'm using my story about being gay in hockey as a gateway to have conversations about becoming shift makers and creating welcoming environments, regardless of race, gender, sexuality, disability, not being able to conform or fit into the culture, whatever it is. I think the premise and the ways to create shifts are all fairly similar. So the goal is to create those environments where anyone and everyone feels like they belong in the sport.
Mhm. I mean, how does it feel that you made this happen, right? I mean, you finish in Toronto, right? Is that when
Yes.
the tour ends? But how has it been so far? And it must feel like, oh, I started this, and it just feels like, there's, I'm assuming great feedback, right? Positive feedback.
There, it's funny because I think in the midst of it, I haven't fully processed how enormous it is. I think that will be post tour. I'll have some time to decompress and go, wow, I did that.
Hmm.
Right now, it's just everything. Like my days have been, um, like there's been some days where I'm up at 4 in the morning and back and and doing press starting at 5, and then back at a hotel by midnight. And going through all that has been challenging and exhausting, and I think I just haven't had that second to take it all in and be fully present with it. And when I have a moment to do that, I think I'll reflect back and be like, wow, this is pretty cool. That we've the comments, the feedback, everything has been so wonderful and positive though. So
Yes.
that in the moment makes me go, okay, it's working. It's doing what I intended to do. So that's exciting.
Yeah. So, I've seen on social media, I think Instagram, it's like you were saying that, you're going on all these media tours and getting up so early, and it just takes like a lot of fuel. And but you are striving to create a space, no matter what your gender is, your sexuality, or your race. And it's, I just think it's just wonderful what you're doing, and congratulate you as well. But I wanted to ask you, when was it 2016 that you you wanted to say that you're gay. Is that correct?
It's when I chose to come out publicly. I was out in my
Right.
private life prior to, but I came out publicly, and with the hopes of, empowering myself and maybe helping some people. Yeah, I came out publicly in November 2016. I was 33 when I came out public.
33. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you. 33. So with hockey culture, like, is it getting better slowly? Like the culture, how with pride tape and and so forth.
I think we're getting there. I think it's a slow process. I think it's one of, if not the most insular cultures. Um, I do believe that it's slow moving. We will get there. I think the next generation is far more inclusive in terms of thought. I don't know if their language and behaviors match their thoughts, and I think that's where we're at. But ultimately, it's going to be a process, and it's going to be years and years of work. But we're slowly evolving.
Yes. And accepting yourself, right, for who you are. And um, like when you go on tour, like and speaking to the minor hockey, high school um, minor hockey teams, rather, can you share some of the feedback from the students?
The kids are great. I mean, I've had engagements where players will stick around for an hour after and just talk.
Mm.
And these are 16-year-old hockey boys. I received an email from a mom in Vancouver, and one of her son's friends came over and was telling her that uh, I may have changed the way he saw the world and changed his life. And there's been a lot of instances like that. We had an incident in Calgary where a kid was targeted by his teammates, and they did some not okay stuff.
Mm.
But the player came up to me after the session, and he's like, "You inspired me to tell them how it made me feel." So I went back in with the team with that player and facilitated him sharing how he felt. And we've had this over and over and over, and it's been pretty rewarding to see that the feedback has been so overwhelmingly positive, and people are really receptive to it. Um, I'm sure there's people that maybe aren't, and that's okay too. That's their right and their choice, and whether I disagree with them or not, it's their life, and I can't control that. Ultimately, the goal is to share impact, and impact of our language, our behaviors, attitudes, and then it's up to them to follow their moral compass.
Mhm. Brock, what is next for you, like after the tour?
A little vacation. I'm going to go somewhere warm and sleep on a beach chair for a week. And then after that, I don't know. There's so much I want to do. I want to do this annually across Canada, and also an American version. I think that would be at the forefront. I want to. I've written a number of TV shows. I want, and I'm talking to some production companies about those. I want to get those off the ground. I want potentially a podcast as well, and
Nice.
just looking to do things that fuel me, whether it's fun stuff or advocacy activism work, and combining the two in a way that isn't so rigid and serious, and where we can have a good time and engage, and um, that's sort of the next step, I think, for me, is finding ways to continue to you know share messages on larger scales.
If people do want to get involved, I should say, how can they do that?
In terms of my work, I did start a charity. I'm one of the founders of a charity that launched last year called the Alphabet Sports Collective, and they can go there if anything with my work, if they want to be involved in some capacity or just engage with it, they can find me on social media, Brock McGillis 33 on all social media channels, or through my website, brockmcgillis.com. And yeah, it's an easy way to sort of get in touch and engage.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. And so much for your time. And is there anything else you'd like to add, Brock?
No, thank you. Thank you for amplifying the tour, and I'm excited to get to Winnipeg, and then in the new year, Montreal, Ottawa, and Toronto, and finalize this thing that I've never seen happen before, and hopefully help people.
Yes. Thank you so much again. And I'd like for you to come back.
Yeah, anytime. Just reach out anytime. I'd love to.